Elena, after 15 years with Apex Technologies. They were restructuring my position. Caroline Hayes announced it. Her voice tinged with a faint hint of satisfaction as she sat across from me in the small conference room. Beside her was Lisa from HR, both wearing carefully rehearsed expressions of corporate regret. The company is heading in a new direction, Lisa chimed in, sliding a manila folder toward me. Your contributions have been valuable, but we're merging the research division into the product development team. I nodded calmly, accepting the folder without flipping it open. Inside, I knew, would be the standard severance package. 2 weeks' pay for every year of service, 3 months of health coverage, and a list of career counseling services I'd never touch. I completely understand, I said, my tone steady. These decisions are never easy. Relief flickered across their faces. They'd clearly braced for tears, arguments, or outrage. After all, I was a 55-year-old woman being nudged out of the tech world, where youth often trumped experience. What they didn't know was that I'd seen this coming for weeks, ever since a misrouted email chain landed in my inbox last month. We'd like you to clear out your desk by Friday, Caroline continued, her confidence growing with my apparent compliance. We'll need your keycard, company laptop, and phone before you go. Your team will be informed this afternoon. My team, 6 brilliant engineers I'd handpicked and mentored over the years. The same team that helped me create the distributed processing algorithm powering Apex Technologies' flagship product, Ledger Sync, the accounting software used by over 40% of Fortune 500 companies. Of course, I said, standing. Is there anything else? They exchanged a quick glance, momentarily thrown by my composure. Caroline recovered first. That's all for now. Thank you for keeping this professional. As I walked back to my office, I passed the glass-walled executive boardroom. Through the transparent divide, I saw CEO Marcus Reynolds gesturing energetically at a PowerPoint titled Q3 Revenue Projections. The same Marcus Reynolds who'd claimed credit for my algorithm at last year's industry summit, vaguely calling me one of our research staff. I shut my office door and pulled out my personal phone. Typing a quick text, "It's happening. Friday's my last day." The reply buzzed back instantly. Perfect timing. Contracts are ready. Dinner tonight to finalize? I smiled at my desk calendar. Today was Wednesday. Friday, I'd leave Apex for good. And Monday? Monday would be interesting. That evening, I met Daniel Carter at the Pinnacle, an upscale restaurant far from Apex's headquarters. As CEO of Nexus Solutions, Apex's biggest rival, Daniel valued discretion. He'd reserved a private alcove in the back, hidden by sleek wooden screens. They actually did it, he said, shaking his head after we ordered. I figured they might, but to ditch the person who built their core tech? Marcus never grasped what you really made. He saw the shiny surface, the interface. The marketing hype, I replied, sipping my water. The architecture underneath? Just tech gibberish to him. The irony was almost poetic. 3 months ago, I noticed Apex's legal team hadn't filed the patent for my algorithm. When I asked, they called it an oversight, promising a hasty fix. But their tone felt off. So I dug deeper into internal records. That's when I found the memo, a plan to label the algorithm as company developed, with no named inventor, sidelining me before locking it down. They assumed employee-created IP automatically belonged to them. What Apex didn't know was that I'd refined the algorithm on my own time, using my personal equipment. Those upgrades, boosting efficiency by 43%, fell outside my employment contract. Last month, I'd quietly filed my own patent, timestamped and logged, with help from Daniel's top IP lawyer. It was approved in record time. All the paperwork's done, Daniel said, sliding a folder across the table. Sign, and Nexus Solutions gets exclusive rights to your patent. The press release drops Monday morning, announcing you as our new Chief Innovation Officer. I scanned the documents, though I'd already memorized the terms, a 7-figure signing bonus. Significant equity in Nexus and royalties on all products using my algorithm. What do you think Marcus's face will look like when he finds out? Daniel asked, grinning. I'm more worried about my team, I admitted. They don't deserve the fallout. Taken care of, Daniel said. We've got senior roles ready for all 6, with hefty raises if they're interested. I signed the last page and slid the folder back. In one swift move, I'd secured my future, shielded my team, and set the stage for what came next. To new beginnings, Daniel said, raising his glass. And to owning your worth, I added, clinking mine against his. Thursday and Friday blurred by exit interviews, knowledge transfers, goodbyes to colleagues. I stayed professional. Even as whispers spread. Assistants shot me pitying looks in the halls. Junior devs awkwardly asked for LinkedIn recommendations. I documented everything: projects, passwords, processes, knowing Apex would soon realize how much they'd relied on me. My thorough notes weren't generosity. They were proof I'd acted in good faith while they hadn't. In Friday's final exit interview, Lisa ran through the checklist with robotic precision. You understand that any IP developed during your employment stays with Apex, she said, pushing an NDA across the table. Of course, I replied smoothly. Anything developed within my job scope, using company resources on company time. I stressed the qualifiers. But Lisa was too busy ticking boxes to notice. And you confirm you haven't taken proprietary company data? I've taken nothing that belongs to Apex, I said, entirely truthful. The patent was mine. As I packed my desk, family photos, 15 years worth of conference badges, a mug my team gave me last Christmas. Caroline lingered in my doorway, feigning casualness. Just checking everything's set for your exit, she said, watching me box up my things. Perfectly clear, I replied, wrapping a small award I'd earned for the algorithm now central to my plans. The irony wasn't lost on me. You know, Elena, these restructurings aren't personal, she went on. Marcus thinks the company needs a younger vibe. I met her gaze. I get it. Business is business. Something in my voice made her falter, a flicker of doubt crossing her face. She brushed it off. Taking some time off? She asked, forcing concern. No, I've got something lined up, I said. I start Monday. Oh, her eyebrows lifted. Anything exciting? I smiled. Very. A leadership role. I'm thrilled. She nodded, already disengaging. Well, good luck. As I left Apex's glass headquarters for the last time, belongings in tow, I glanced back. On the top floor, the executive boardroom glowed, likely a late meeting to divvy up my duties among younger, cheaper staff. They had no idea that in under 72 hours, that room would host a frantic crisis session instead. Monday morning broke crisp and bright. I dressed in a sharp charcoal suit I'd bought for the occasion. A Nexus Solutions town car arrived at 7:30 a.m., whisking me to their headquarters for my first day as Chief Innovation Officer. Press release went live at 7 a.m., Daniel said as I settled into my new corner office with sweeping windows. Industry outlets are picking it up. Our comms team's tracking reactions. The statement was surgical. Nexus Solutions secures exclusive rights to groundbreaking processing algorithm. Welcomes creator Dr. Elena Harper as Chief Innovation Officer. It highlighted my credentials, named me the sole inventor, and noted that any firm using the tech would now negotiate licenses with Nexus. At 9:15 a.m., my phone buzzed with a text from my old Apex team. Total chaos here. What did you do? It was Javier, my lead developer. I grinned, texting back. Check your personal email. Offers waiting for all 6 of you. Meanwhile, 8 miles away at Apex, the Monday executive meeting had imploded. Javier's updates painted the scene. Marcus arrived to find the general counsel and CFO at his door, pale-faced, clutching the industry alert. By 9:30, the routine check-in had spiraled into an emergency summit. Board members dialed in. Legal scrambled to review my contract and algorithm files. They're pulling every document with your name, Javier texted. Tech teams dissecting research division servers. I could imagine it. Marcus pacing, barking at Caroline, and legal, Apex's stock wobbling as investors recoiled from the uncertainty. At 10:45 a.m., Marcus emailed me directly. Elena, there seems to be a misunderstanding. Please call me ASAP to discuss. I forwarded it to Nexus's legal team without replying. By noon, the industry buzzed. Apex's stock dipped 7% since the opening bell. Nexus's climbed 12%. 3 tech journals requested interviews about the strategic coup. How do you feel? Daniel asked, stopping by my office. Validated, I said. 15 years of watching others claim my work. Being told to be grateful for a seat at the table now. Recognition. My assistant popped in. Dr. Harper, the dev team's ready for you. Also, Apex's CEO has called 4 times in the last hour. Tell him I'm booked all day, I replied. Our legal team will reach out about licensing later this week. As I headed to my first Nexus meeting, Javier texted, board's in emergency session. Marcus looks like he's unraveling. P.S. My team and I are in. When can we start? By Tuesday, Apex felt the full weight of my exit. Ledger Sync, their flagship, hinged on my algorithm. Without licensing rights, they faced a grim choice: pay Nexus or rebuild from scratch, a years-long, multi-million-dollar ordeal. Victor's holding an all-hands at 2 p.m. Javier texted, his last day at Apex. He and my team would join Nexus the following Monday. Rumor is they'll sue you. I forwarded it to legal, who shot back. Let them try. Your documentation's airtight, logs, timestamps, personal gear. We're ready. At Nexus, respect defined my new role. People listened when I spoke. My ideas weren't hijacked. My age and expertise were strengths, not liabilities. Engineering's testing your efficiency tweaks, Daniel said that afternoon. Early results show a 51% performance boost, better than projected. I held back some refinements at Apex, I admitted. Once I saw they were cutting me, I stopped sharing my best. Their loss, our gain, Daniel said. First licensing inquiries in, not Apex. They're still in denial, but data stream solutions. They're nervous about collateral damage. At 3:30 p.m., Javier recapped Marcus's all hands. The CEO projected bravado, vowing to defend our tech. But the room reeked of unease. Several staff had updated LinkedIn profiles, sensing Apex's fragility. Caroline looked faint when someone asked about the patent, Javier wrote. Marcus shut down questions fast. By Wednesday, fallout deepened. 2 big clients contacted Nexus about switching from Ledger Sync, doubting Apex's stability. Our stock rose another 8%. Apex's slid further. Then Lisa from HR called. Elena, she began, voice tight. We think there's a mix-up with your patent's ownership. No mix-up, I said coolly. My contract's clear. IP developed on my time, with my resources, is mine. The patent proves it. Marcus hoped you'd meet to discuss options. Talk to Nexus's legal team, I cut in. They'll arrange licensing talks. Her silence said it all. That afternoon, I pitched Nexus's board our tech roadmap, centered on my algorithm. Standing at the table's head, not relegated to the back, I caught Daniel's nod of approval. By Friday, Apex was in freefall. Their stock had tanked 23% since Monday, sparking investor panic. Headlines speculated, can Apex survive the algorithm debacle? Victor finally admitted the crisis to the board. They'd either license from Nexus at steep rates or rebuild Ledger Sync without my tech. They're hiring a new dev team, Javier said on our transition call. Marcus claims they'll replicate it in 6 months. I laughed. It took me 3 years to perfect. And I knew the problem inside out. Nobody buys their timeline, Javier agreed. Especially after we all resigned together. The brain drain's brutal. That afternoon, Apex's lawyers contacted Nexus, probing licensing terms. Our response, triple the industry rate, plus public credit to me as inventor, was fair but punishing. Marcus's ego will choke on the credit more than the cost, Daniel predicted. Then they'll rebuild, I said. Every day they waste catching up, we pull further ahead. The next Monday, I led my first Nexus innovation meeting with Javier and my old team. The vibe was electric as we brainstormed the algorithm's next phase. This is how dev meetings should feel, said Priya, one of my engineers. At Apex, we wasted time explaining basics to execs who ignored us. Here, your expertise matters, I replied. My assistant interrupted. Dr. Harper, big news from Apex. Their board just ousted Marcus Reynolds, effective immediately. The story broke fast. The board had lost faith in Marcus after the patent fiasco. Caroline and the legal head were out too. That evening, Apex's new interim CEO, Thomas Bennett, emailed me. Dr. Harper, congrats on your role. I'm here to steady Apex. Can we discuss a fair licensing deal? We'll publicly recognize your work and address past oversights. Available next week? I forwarded it to Daniel with a note. Phase 1 done. He replied, masterfully played. The board's toasting your first win. Apex is learning a costly lesson about valuing innovators. 3 months later, I keynoted the National Tech Innovation Conference. The room brimmed with industry giants, reporters, and young devs, many familiar with my tale. Please welcome Dr. Elena Harper, the host said. Creator of the distributed processing algorithm revolutionizing data processing. Applause swelled as I took the podium. Last year, I'd sat in the back at this event, watching Marcus tout his company's breakthroughs. Today, I began, I'll talk about innovation, ownership, and valuing intellectual contributions, no matter who makes them. I explained my algorithms tech while subtly critiquing industry norms, stressing companies must champion innovators, not treat them as disposable. At the reception, young female engineers approached me. One, barely 30, said, "Your story made me log my work on personal time." Smart, I told her. Protect your innovations. Later, a news alert pinged. Apex had signed our licensing deal, naming me as the algorithm's creator. Their stock stabilized, but at a lower valuation. A year after my desk clearing, I reviewed Nexus's quarterly innovation report from my spacious office. We'd launched 3 game-changing products, stealing market share from Apex. Daniel arrived with champagne. "Happy anniversary," he said. "The board's news. Nexus just passed Apex in market value, first time ever." I smiled, feeling not victory, but peace. That's what happens when you value innovation right. An envelope arrived, an invite to speak at the Women in Tech Leadership Summit on owning your intellectual value. "You're an icon now," Daniel said. The exec who didn't see her worth till she was gone, a corporate cautionary tale. Thomas Bennett, still Apex's CEO, had overhauled their IP policies, mirroring Nexus's. It was never revenge, I said, raising my glass. It was about recognition, showing innovation isn't faceless. It's people deserving credit. To proper recognition, Daniel toasted. As sunlight poured through my windows, I savored the journey. At 56, I'd found what I'd chased for years, not just success, but acknowledgement. My name was now inseparable from the algorithm that reshaped an industry exactly as it should be.